Understanding the subtle signs of intimacy in men. Have you ever wondered if there are signs that might reveal a man has recently been intimate? While not always obvious, the male body and behavior often exhibit subtle changes after intercourse. These signs are rooted in biology and physiology, reflecting the physical exertion, hormonal shifts, and emotional responses that follow sexual activity. For centuries, people have been fascinated by how intimacy impacts both men and women differently. Men, in particular, experience unique physical and behavioral cues after intercourse that can offer insights into their recent experiences. From changes in their demeanor to physical telltales, understanding these signs isn't about being intrusive but about fostering awareness and deeper connection. Why is this important? Recognizing these signs can help women understand their partners better, whether it's about interpreting mood shifts or noticing physical reactions that signal vulnerability or closeness. It can also provide clarity in situations where trust or communication is lacking. Knowing these signs doesn't mean jumping to conclusions. Instead, it's about observing patterns and being mindful of the body's natural responses. Sexual activity is a complex interplay of hormones, emotions, and physical actions, and each man reacts in his own way. Some signs might be incredibly obvious, while others could be subtle. What's essential is understanding the science behind these changes and approaching them with an open mind and compassion. With that said, let's explore the 8 signs that might suggest a man has recently had intercourse. These signs range from physical changes to behavioral shifts, each offering a glimpse into how his body and mind react to the experience. 1. A noticeable relaxation in his posture. One of the most immediate physical signs that a man has recently had intercourse is the way his body visibly relaxes. This isn't just a slight change, it's often a dramatic shift that can be observed in his posture, movements, and even facial expressions. After sexual activity, the male body undergoes a cascade of hormonal changes, particularly the release of oxytocin and endorphins. Oxytocin, often referred to as the bonding hormone, creates a sense of calm and well-being, while endorphins act as natural painkillers and mood elevators. This cocktail of hormones promotes physical relaxation. You may notice his shoulders are no longer tense, his neck isn't stiff, and his overall body language is more open. If he was pacing or fidgeting before, he's now more likely to lean back into his seat, stretch, or adopt a laid-back stance. His arms and legs might move more fluidly, as though his entire body has been reset to a calmer, more comfortable state. The relaxation isn't limited to his movements, it's written all over his face. A slight glow in his complexion and a softer expression are often telltale signs. The stress lines on his forehead might temporarily vanish, and his jaw may seem less clenched. Even his breathing can change, it often becomes slower and deeper, a natural response to the physical exertion and emotional release of intimacy. This postcoital calm isn't just psychological. During intercourse, a man's body expends a significant amount of energy. His heart rate increases, his muscles work harder, and his blood pressure temporarily rises. Afterward, his body enters a recovery phase, allowing his nervous system to return to a state of balance. This recovery manifests as visible physical relaxation, making it one of the clearest signs that he's recently had sex. 2. Slight puffiness or redness in the groin area. The physical demands of intercourse often leave behind subtle but noticeable signs in the groin region. After sex, the increased blood flow to the genital area doesn't instantly return to baseline levels. This heightened circulation can result in temporary puffiness, redness, or a flushed appearance around the penis and testicles. During arousal, the blood vessels in the genital region dilate, filling with blood to support an erection and enhance sensitivity. The friction involved in sexual activity, whether gentle or intense, also stimulates the skin in this area, contributing to these visual changes. Once the activity is over, the body gradually returns to its normal state, but the process can take time, leaving behind these physical markers. In some cases, there may also be a slight sheen of moisture in the area. This could be residual sweat or natural lubrication from the encounter. If ejaculation occurred, the skin might feel tacky or slightly sticky unless he's cleaned up thoroughly. For some men, the post-sex experience might also include a mild sense of tenderness or soreness, especially if the session was vigorous or prolonged. These changes are entirely natural and temporary. They're not usually visible unless you're physically close, but they're a clear indication of recent activity. The body's ability to recover quickly is a testament to its resilience, but for a short time after intercourse, these physical signs remain as evidence of the event. 3. Lingering natural scents or pheromones. After sex, a man's body retains a unique scent that is a combination of his natural body oils, sweat, and the pheromones released during intimacy. Pheromones are chemical signals that play a key role in attraction and bonding, and during sexual activity, their production is significantly heightened. These natural scents can linger on the skin and even his clothing, making them one of the more subtle yet detectable signs of recent intimacy. The scent is often strongest on areas that experience the most physical contact, such as his chest, neck, and lower abdomen. If he hasn't showered thoroughly, the mixture of sweat and natural body oils can intensify this scent, creating a musky or earthy aroma. This isn't unpleasant, it's a raw, natural smell that reflects the physical exertion and hormonal activity involved in intercourse. For women with a keen sense of smell, this change can be particularly noticeable. The lingering scent is not just a byproduct of physical activity but also a biological marker of closeness and connection. Pheromones are designed to communicate signals to others, often on a subconscious level, and their presence after sex is nature's way of reinforcing the bond created during intimacy. Even after a quick rinse or change of clothes, traces of this scent can remain. It's often subtle, but when combined with other physical signs, it can provide a clear indication of what he's recently experienced. Understanding these cues isn't about being intrusive, it's about recognizing the intricate ways the human body responds to intimacy and appreciating the connection it fosters. 4. Increased warmth in the genital area. One of the less obvious but consistent physical signs that a man has recently had intercourse is a lingering warmth in the genital region. This warmth is directly related to the body's physiological response during sexual activity. When a man becomes aroused, blood vessels in the pelvic area dilate to allow an increased flow of blood. This blood not only supports and sustains an erection but also enhances sensitivity in the surrounding tissues. The culmination of intercourse doesn't immediately reset the body's state, it takes time for blood flow to normalize and for the region to cool down. This increased warmth can be noticeable for a considerable amount of time after intimacy, particularly if the session was physically demanding. The skin in the genital region may feel distinctly warmer to the touch than the rest of the body, which is a natural consequence of heightened blood circulation. In some cases, the warmth may even extend to the inner thighs or lower abdomen, as these areas are also involved in the physical exertion of sex. Additionally, this heat is often accompanied by slight moisture. Sexual activity generates a significant amount of body heat due to the friction and exertion involved, and the genital area, in particular, tends to retain this heat longer than other parts of the body. Combined with sweat and natural body oils produced during intimacy, this lingering warmth becomes a distinct indicator of recent activity. Understanding this sign requires proximity and context. If he hasn't had a chance to shower or cool down, the warmth in this area can serve as a subtle but clear physical marker. While it might not be immediately apparent to an observer, it is something he might feel himself or that a partner could notice through touch. This natural and temporary reaction is one of the many ways the male body processes and recovers from intimacy. 5. Temporary changes in urination. Another physical cue that may indicate a man has recently had intercourse lies in his urinary patterns and sensations. Intercourse and ejaculation involve a complex interplay of muscles and glands, particularly in the pelvic region. After sexual activity, the body undergoes a recovery phase during which the urinary system may temporarily behave differently than normal. For instance, a man might feel a strong urge to urinate shortly after sex, which is a natural response. The act of ejaculation often stimulates the bladder, and the body instinctively seeks to flush out any remaining fluids or bacteria in the urethra. However, this urge isn't always accompanied by the usual ease of urination. Many men report that their flow is slower or weaker immediately after sex. This is because the prostate gland, which plays a dual role in ejaculation and urination, remains slightly swollen for a short period post-orgasm. In addition to changes in flow, some men might notice a brief stinging or tingling sensation when urinating. This can occur due to residual semen in the urethra or the temporary irritation caused by friction during intercourse. While this sensation is generally mild and short-lived, it's a physical reminder of the activity that just took place. Another aspect to consider is hydration. Sex, especially when vigorous, can be dehydrating. If he's feeling parched or reaching for water more frequently, it could be a sign that his body is working to replenish fluids lost during the activity. All these factors, urinary urgency, flow changes, and increased thirst, work together to paint a picture of the body's natural recovery process. 6. Slightly swollen or tender testicles. The testicles are another area that can exhibit subtle physical changes after intercourse. During sexual arousal, the testicles are drawn closer to the body due to the contraction of muscles in the scrotum. This is part of the body's preparation for ejaculation, as it positions the testicles closer to the base of the penis to aid in sperm release. This process, coupled with the increased blood flow to the area, can leave the testicles feeling slightly swollen or tender post-intimacy. This swelling is not permanent but occurs as a natural response to the buildup of tension during sexual activity. Once ejaculation occurs, the pressure begins to dissipate, but the area doesn't instantly return to its pre-arousal state. It can take some time for the blood vessels to constrict and the muscles to relax completely. During this recovery period, the testicles might feel heavier or more sensitive to touch. For men who've had a particularly vigorous or prolonged session, this tenderness might be more pronounced. He might unconsciously adjust his sitting position or avoid sudden movements that could exacerbate the sensitivity. The sensation is rarely painful, rather, it's more of a mild awareness of the area. In addition to swelling, the scrotum may appear slightly flushed or reddened, a result of the increased blood flow during arousal. This visual change is usually subtle and fades quickly but can serve as another indicator of recent activity. While these signs are temporary, they reflect the physical effort and physiological changes that occur during sex, showcasing just how much the body is involved in the process. 7. A noticeable difference in the texture or appearance of the skin in the groin area. After sexual activity, the skin in the groin area can exhibit subtle but identifiable changes in texture or appearance. The physical exertion and friction involved during intercourse often leave the skin feeling slightly warmer, smoother, or even slightly irritated. This is due to the natural sensitivity of the skin in that region and the constant contact and movement that occurred during intimacy. The skin might appear slightly flushed, a result of the increased blood flow to the area. This flushing, often seen as a pinkish or reddish hue, is temporary and usually fades within a few hours. For men with lighter skin tones, the redness might be more pronounced, while for others, it could manifest as a faint sheen or slight discoloration. In addition to redness, there might be signs of mild chafing or friction marks, especially if the encounter was intense or prolonged. These marks are generally harmless and heal quickly, but they're a clear indicator of recent physical activity. The presence of residual lubrication or body fluids can also alter the skin's texture, making it feel slightly slick or sticky until cleaned. This physical change is often overlooked because it's not something most people focus on. However, for those who are observant or intimately close to the individual, it can be a subtle but telling sign. The skin's ability to recover and return to its normal state quickly is a testament to the body's resilience, but for a short period, these visible and tactile changes remain as evidence of recent intimacy. 8. A temporary reduction in scrotal tightness. Another physical sign that might indicate a man has recently had intercourse is a noticeable difference in the scrotum's appearance and tightness. During sexual arousal, the scrotum typically contracts, pulling the testicles closer to the body. This is due to the action of the cremaster muscle, which helps regulate the temperature of the testicles and prepares them for ejaculation. After the activity concludes, the scrotum relaxes, and the testicles return to a lower, more natural position. This post-intimacy state is often characterized by a looser, softer appearance of the scrotal skin. The relaxation of the cremaster muscle and the decreased tension in the surrounding tissues are signs that the body is winding down from the heightened state of arousal. For some men, this relaxation might be accompanied by a feeling of warmth or sensitivity in the area. The texture of the scrotal skin might also feel different, less taut and more pliable to the touch. These changes are natural and occur as part of the body's recovery process after the exertion of intimacy. It's worth noting that this relaxed state doesn't last indefinitely. As the body recovers and hormone levels stabilize, the scrotum gradually returns to its usual tightness and appearance. However, during the immediate aftermath of intercourse, this physical change is one of the most observable signs that a man has recently been intimate. Conclusion: understanding and appreciating the physical signs. The human body is incredibly expressive, especially after moments of intimacy. From changes in posture and warmth to subtle signs in the skin and muscles, a man's body tells a story of the physical and emotional journey he's just experienced. While these signs might not always be obvious, they are rooted in biology and reflect the intricate processes that occur during and after intercourse. Recognizing these signs isn't about being invasive or overly analytical, it's about understanding how the male body responds to intimacy and appreciating the physical cues that accompany it. Whether you're observing a partner's relaxed demeanor, noticing changes in his behavior, or simply marveling at the body's natural recovery process, these signs are a testament to the deep connection between mind, body, and intimacy. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of physical signs and relationships, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might find it insightful, and hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you ensure that you won't miss out on more intriguing topics that help us better understand ourselves and those around us. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.